InsideThunder.com. Powered by Wheeler Whitlock Insurance.
Hi, I'm Randy Renner at Chesapeake Energy Arena. Boy, it didn't look good for the longest time against the Clippers. They were extraordinarily hot from beyond the arc, and Austin Rivers had a career night in points with 30 and in made three-pointers with 7. Also a big night for Jamal Crawford. He had 32 points and ended up with 5 three-pointers, so they were a combined hit 12 three-pointers and scored 64 points. Thunder, though, at the end made a couple of great defensive plays. Steven Adams ended up with a putback for the game winner, and Russell Westbrook with a really smart play at the end just to toss the ball up in the air and let the clock run out. Thunder win it 119-117 over the Clips. After the game, we heard from Billy Donovan and Steven Adams about his play.
You know, I think said before the game, it's these games are hard to play just because of guys maybe out of their normal rotation, and certainly give them a lot of credit. They shot the ball extremely well tonight from behind the 3-point line. Crawford, I think we talked about before the game, just his ability to create, and he certainly did that. I give our guys credit for just battling and hanging in there through an incredible shooting night by them. Obviously our numbers defensively don't look great, but I thought the second half we, really gave a, I think, great effort. We missed some loose ball rebounds. I thought offensively, we scored 119 points, and we shot a pretty high percentage. I thought, and I've always said this and always believed this, that the 3-point line is the greatest equalizer at any level. And, this was a night where those threes went down and really kept them in the game all the way through and really in control of the game most of the way through. And we were able to kind of break through and get the lead there, closing out the game.
Russell's decision to go throw the ball straight up in the air with 2 points, was that talked about in the huddle, or did he just kind of improvise right there?
No, I think it was a smart play by him, actually, because he obviously took, any chance out of the game for them, miss free throw. You have to make 2 really to ice the game. So, I think it was a smart play. That was just, I think, his savviness on his own of doing that. I think he looked around. There was no one, close enough to him to foul him right away. They kind of sent 2 people to Kevin, and it opened up a gap for him to kind of step in there, and he held it on for a second, and he threw it up. At first, when he went up, I thought he was getting ready to shoot it. I didn't know what was going on. So, but obviously, I thought it was a really, really highly it was a great basketball IQ play, because obviously, by the time the ball came down, the clock had run out.
Coach, can you talk a little bit about the overall defense? Obviously, especially in the first half, it wasn't at the level that you probably were expecting.
Yeah, and again, I think a lot of it's hard because we're playing against a team who's got guys out of rotation, and certain guys are going to get an opportunity to step up and do different things. And I thought Austin tonight played extremely well. He shot the ball at such a high rate. I think at one point there, maybe it was at halftime, I think he and Crawford were 9 for 9 from the 3-point line. Never mind with us trying to be out there and play defense. Going 9 for 9 is pretty good with no defense. So they shot the ball at a very high rate, but I felt like we did a better job as the game wore on of getting there, and some of those shots late didn't fall. And I really, I'd say this at the end of the game, the defense by Andre and by Steven at the end of the game was phenomenal. And Andre covered like 2 different people, used his length, didn't foul, was really active. It was a heck of a defensive stance by the 2 of those guys, and Steven's tipping as well. So, I thought overall, our guys battled and fought, and we found a way to kind of come out with the win. It wasn't pretty, but, again, I think playing in these kind of games, it's hard. It's just hard because you're not, the rotations are totally different in terms of how you scouted, how they're going to play. You're not quite sure who's going to be used which way. I think everybody figured that Jamal Crawford would obviously get a lot of minutes, but how they'd rotate around him, and give their whole team credit. They all kind of stepped up and shot the ball very well.
You just touched on it, but can you break down those last 2 plays, the Adams tip in, and then seemed like you switched everything up top on the final defensive stand? Yeah,
well, I really thought Kevin, we got the ball to Kevin, and we tried to get into a situation with 37, 38 seconds. We were going to try to go 2 for 1. I thought Kevin made a great decision because they kind of ran at him, and he found the open man, and kind of Russell got it into the seam there, and he shot it. But what happened was, because they were trapping with Aldridge, Steven was left on the backside. with a smaller man and able to go up an offensive rebound. And, that's kind of sometimes the price when you say we're going to, because we were trying to do the same thing with Crawford in terms of trapping him a couple possessions earlier. And when you do that, you're going to leave other things open when you try to take a player away. So I think Kevin, instead of forcing something against a double team, kind of got it back out. Russell was able to drive to a seam, and we were able to, manufacture a tip-in.
You guys out rebounded the Clippers by 20. Personnel side, is this just another example of how paramount your team's ability to rebound with the best on this?
Yeah, man, the rebounding was important. I thought we got a couple times we played some good defense and we didn't come down with a couple rebounds. But overall, I give because we were pretty much. I mean, Serge was in there, but there was a good portion of the game that we were small too, and I thought our guys battled on the glass.
How'd you feel about some of the shots you took in the fourth quarter? It seemed like there were some maybe attempts that were forced.
Yeah. I think what happens is our guys, Royce, they get very, very competitive and they kind of get amped up. And I think we needed to settle down there. We had some possessions there with a couple turnovers and some shots. Then I think we kind of settled down and we got back into running some offense. I actually thought we did a pretty good job closing the game out, maybe like from about the 5 or 6 minute mark on, of running offense and getting good shots. I think Kevin a couple times felt like maybe he could kind of draw a foul. So those are hard plays because when you feel like you're going up and you got a chance to draw a foul, maybe get 3 shots, and they don't blow the whistle, it looks like a horrendous shot. But if you get fouled, it's, wow, what a smart play. So Kevin's got a real good feel on that. I think Kevin felt like those were fouls just because I don't think he normally does that just to do that. Normally when he feels a body, he tries to go up, but they didn't call it. But those were 2 tough possessions because that happened twice and we got nothing for it. But then there was a couple of empty possessions, I think, to your point, that we probably didn't get into enough of running offense, and we were trying to rely on maybe individual talent, where once we settled down and started to utilize each other, I thought we generated a lot better shots.
The plays Russ made late in the game, poking it away from Wesley Johnson, getting the ball back, and then the rebound to kind of seal it. It just seems like he has a knack for doing. I mean, he's been doing that for 7 years now. It's just.
I mean, I've seen a lot of guys play. He's by far the best loose ball guy I've ever seen. He has an incredible ability, and if you watch him, he's engaged. Even when he shoots free throws, if you notice, like he notices right where it's missing, where it's going to go. He watches the flight of the ball. He sees shots go up. And all of a sudden, like he's taking off before anybody else is moving. And he's got great speed and closing speed to come up with those plays. But the rebound, and calling timeout was huge. The deflection, was big. I thought the offensive rebound where we got a timeout and got the ball back and we were able to call, run a play. I thought that was really good too. But that's the thing, I think for me as a coach is that balance between allowing him to be who he is and being aggressive, also coupled with the balance of, okay, we need to calm down and we need to get 5 guys organized and set up right now, and we need to kind of execute and create some movement and put guys in position that everybody knows what they're doing. So there's a balance, I think, for me as a coach of letting him, because he does make some incredible plays. He makes a lot of winning plays on his own, and he does a lot of good things. And he made a couple big shots, in that fourth quarter. I think helped us.
Pardon me if this has been asked already, but it seemed like Kevin and Andre had a long conversation about one of their defensive assignments. It started in the second quarter with that backdoor cut. What were they talking about in front of you, and how did they get a resolution to that?
Well, there was some confusion there because what ended up happening was the possession before Kevin yelled for a switch. I don't think Andre heard him, and we had 2 people on the ball. Andre kind of got a little bit lost there, went back door, and Andre just didn't hear the call. That happens sometimes. I think Kevin was more trying to get on the same page with Andre, when we were standing over there and talking. And I wanted to make sure they both were on the same page in terms of, okay, this is exactly what we're doing. This is how we're guarding it. And then I think from that point, we did a better job.
Is this one of those games where it makes you want to reevaluate whether you're going to sit guys or play guys through the end of the season because of some of those defensive breakdowns you've had?
I'm not quite sure I understand the question.
Is it a game with the way you played defensively and some of the points you gave out to some of these guys where you want to reevaluate how you're going to play guys leading up to the playoffs? Do you have to leave those guys in there to get more work?
I guess I don't know. Are you talking about resting the guys in the Detroit game? Or are you talking about resting guys going forward in terms of giving some of the other role players more opportunity, you mean?
Is this a game that would make you want to reevaluate some of the...
I mean, this game here tonight? Okay. No, because I think the one thing about it for us is we're never going to make decisions based on an opponent. We just can't do that. We've got to make decisions based on what's best for the individual player. And I think when we do that, I think we're looking out for their best interest. And, for example, I'm sure Doc's looking at his team. They played, I think 4 games in 5 nights, and they're playing against us, and he felt like it was best for his team, the rest, and his guys got some experience. We felt the same way against Detroit. I don't think you can ever evaluate who you're playing as much as you got to evaluate what's best for the player. And I think that's the way we're always going to do it in terms of making decisions in the future about that, is what's actually best. It can't be about who we're playing against.
It was just a matter of being in the right place at the right time.
Yeah, and just getting lucky, really, bro. Made some awful plays beforehand, a couple of them. So yeah, I was just happy to kind of make at least one good play in the big moments. So yeah.
You ever had a game winner?
No, probably back in high school. That's a lie, but you guys didn't know that. So yeah, had them all the time, all the time.
What do you think of the way that you guys played overall tonight? Obviously, they got a little bit loose from the 3-point line throughout the game.
Yeah, I felt like we came out, started the game pretty good. Defense was on point, stuff like that. But then they just, I don't know, something happened where they just started getting hot, stretching us out a bit, and then putting us in difficult positions. And yeah, they just, all their dudes were hitting all their shots. It was making it tough. But yeah, we just stuck with it, made a few little changes, and then yeah, came out in the fourth quarter pretty good.
Even though you apparently missed it, the play where Russ knocked it away from Wesley Johnson, and the defensive rebound that he had, he just seems to have a knack for.
So was it the offensive rebound tip? He tipped it. Is that right? Wesley Johnson was getting a board.
He grabbed the defense when he knocked it out of his hand, and then Russ got it, called timeout.
Sorry, bro. I remember now.
Would you like to talk about that one now?
Maybe yeah, sorry, bro. My bad.
But he just has a knack for making those plays, it seems.
I mean, yeah, he's a piss, man, because like you'll see him at like. So you'll see him at half court, and then he just ends up under the rim, bro. It's like, what? It's just ridiculous. He's just fast, and big dudes just don't understand when they get the ball, they bring it down here, trying to find an outlet. Just bang, knocks him out. It's fast, man. No, but he's good, man. It's helping us out a lot. Yeah.
Billy said he's the best. Russell's the best at getting loose balls he's ever seen. I mean, what do you think about that statement?
Pretty accurate. Yeah. Yeah, sure.
Steven Adams and Billy Donovan after the Thunder's thrilling 119-117 win over the Los Angeles Clippers. Of course, Thunder a little bit disappointed in how their defense played for much of the night tonight. And of course, the Clippers were shorthanded as they were resting most of their stars. But still, at this stage of the game, a win is a win. And now the Thunder's magic number to seize complete control of the third spot is 1. And they have a chance to do that Sunday against the Houston Rockets. Keep it here. We'll keep you updated at InsideThunder.com.